Williams, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Good to have you here, man. I'm glad that you're coming on. What's really cool is that you actually drove from where you did to get here. I'm not going to say where you live, but thank you.
Yeah, it's always nice to do these in person.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I've tried the, what do you call it, remote satellite. It just doesn't seem as organic as having somebody in the room and being able to kind of read the room, read them, talk, laugh in front of each other and stuff. You know, it flows a lot better.
Yeah.
I did one of them and I just didn't release it. I'm like, this is too choppy.
Yeah. On those Zoom things, I always end up looking at myself instead of like, I'm like, am I looking okay right now? And it's like, it's a distraction, you know? So.
Yeah, dude. Well, hey, man, seriously, thanks for coming on the podcast. And is that shirt alligator print?
Yeah, I think it is.
Dude, that
is clean.
That's so gangster. By the way, we do have Ollie over here. Put that camera on yourself, dude. Ollie is filling in. My man, thank you so much. I appreciate it. But anyways, Trevor, again, thank you for coming on, man. A lot of cool things and interesting things to talk about with you. But first, dude, you grew up very interestingly, is that the best way? Different than most people, I would say, right? I think your parents were missionaries?
They were.
Where were they missionaries at? Where'd you grow up?
So, yeah, a lot of growing up very quickly in my childhood. Born in Virginia, when I was 4, we moved to Africa.
Wow.
Yeah, so Africa at that time in 94, this is a couple years ago, we were there during the Rwandan genocide. So
what?
It was war zone.
So was it, I mean to interrupt you, but was you guys went over and then it started happening, or did you go and it was already going down, the genocide?
That's a great question. Nobody's asked me that. And I was 4, so.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I'm going to assume that it kind of ramped up once we got there.
Yeah.
But we lived in Zaire, which bordered Rwanda.
Okay.
So we were like affected by it, but not like in the middle, like the heat. And it was like a lot of tribal stuff too. So we weren't necessarily part of a tribe when we lived there. It was more industrial. Like we lived in a city. My dad worked for World Vision, which is a large nonprofit organization. And yeah, we were there a couple years.
That's great. So the missionary work your dad was doing, was it going into tribes and talking with the people, or was it more city? Do you remember?
It covered a broad like spectrum.
Okay.
I do remember like pygmies at one point, like jungle, like very short.
Yeah.
And
I'm the same size as this guy.
Yeah. So yeah, I was 4, so they were like eye to eye with me. But they do like education, they do like clean water projects, building projects. Most people who are not missionaries know of World Vision through sponsoring a child. So
that's what I first thought.
Yeah, so that's their big thing that is most common.
Okay.
But yeah, they're in like every country, and there's just like a million things they do.
Okay.
So
is that what your family did? Like your parents did for a living? They were missionaries?
So my dad was actually a lawyer, an attorney.
Oh wow. Okay.
And he one day we're Christian.
Okay.
And he felt called by God to go help in Africa, of all places.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when people think of a missionary, they think about like going and spreading the gospel, being sponsored by your church, that sort of thing.
That's my thought. Yeah.
And that's not always the case, because there are a lot of companies that are like, you can work for a company and you don't need to be sponsored. And you work in all sorts of different countries, and some are faith-based, some are not.
Okay.
I guess you would call yourself a humanitarian.
Yeah.
If there wasn't like a tie to a faith.
Yeah.
So this was both though. World Vision is the largest Christian organization that's like a nonprofit. But it's also a humanitarian organization.
Yeah. So was that pretty much until you were 18, or was that a short stint that they did?
No, that was 4 years, just about 4 years that I lived in Africa. We talked about Zaire, but it got really bad while we were living there due to all the wars and stuff going on. So we did kind of like a temporary evacuation to South Africa.
Gosh.
And South Africa is more like a first world country, paved roads, like you can go eat at restaurants. Seems safe, but it's not. It's like it's actually very dangerous. So we wore these necklaces that had like a panic button on it. I don't know what would do if I pressed it. Like I feel like a lot of time would go by before any like aid was rendered.
Who's gonna come get me?
Yeah, it was like it made you feel safer, I guess. Sense of security.
So you guys didn't have any bodyguards or anything?
No, well, in Africa we did. Well, just at the house. It was like a gatekeeper.
Okay.
So our house was surrounded by a wall, barbed wire.
Mm-hmm. We
had a dog who, in retrospect, probably wouldn't have done much. It seemed big when I was 4, but it's probably like a 20-pound little thing. And then we didn't have armed security, but we had a guy who would like open the gate and he had a slingshot.
No way.
So
dude.
I think that was
so awesome.
It was more for like hunting and stuff. But
Dude.
he did one time. He did hit a guy with his slingshot.
So he was spot on with it.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was accurate. Some guy was trying to climb over the wall one night, and he hit him. So I think he was okay, but it deterred him. You know.
More power to him, man.
Yeah,
Dang, good for
what
him.
the heck did I just get hit by?
Do you think those years being in Africa and your dad doing that mission work, do you think that had a pretty profound impact on your life and shaping you as a young man and kind of who you are today?
Oh, absolutely. And I'll get more into why, because Africa was just like the first stop.
Okay.
I also lived in Haiti, the island of Haiti. Well, island of Hispaniola. It's attached to the Dominican Republic. There's Haiti, Dominican. Poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. And I lived there during my teenage years.
Whoa.
So that, more specifically, you're impressionable during that time. I still am, but yeah, especially when you're a teenager, though, you know. So yeah, that really kind of shaped me, I think, into part of who I am today. And yeah, you kind of grow up fast in those countries.
I can imagine the things that you saw and we experienced. I mean, if you compare that, you know, what you went through then, what you witnessed to what we have now, I mean, you're talking about two complete different worlds.
Yeah.
You know, we can turn on a faucet and have water. Where there, I'm sure that was probably not the case. You know, it's just different.
No hot water, at least for us.
Yeah.
And we were like very privileged, all things considered, in Haiti.
Yeah.
You know, we lived in a house. You know, we had a car, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where most people are living off $1 a day, and every day is a battle. You know, Are you going to eat today? Are you going to catch a bullet? It's a violent country too. A lot of gangs, you'd hear gunfire every day. You'd see dead bodies in the streets. So
how long were you guys there?
3 years there. So
3
I was
years.
12 to 15.
Wow. And then after that, did you guys come back to the States?
Yeah. And it was another scenario like Africa where it was getting really bad, to where we had to evacuate. So in Haiti, the government was being overthrown. The president at the time, his name was Aristide, and nobody liked him. He was taking advantage of the country. Wow. He was like supplying gangs with like weapons and stuff just to like wreak havoc. The country didn't like him, so he didn't like the country, and he eventually got ousted. Meanwhile, there's just like riots everywhere, burning tires in the streets, gunfire, roadblocks, all that stuff.
Like the stuff you see in the movies, pretty
Yeah.
much. Right? That's so. Are you an only child, or did you have brothers and sisters that were there with you as well, with your parents?
I was an only child until I was 7, so most of my Africa years. By the time I got to Haiti, I had 2 sisters.
Oh, wow.
And we're spread out all 7 years apart. So I was 14, next one was 7, next one was being born.
Wow.
So the youngest sister, she barely remembers Haiti, at least at that time.
Yeah.
There's more Haiti in our future, but
yeah.
Even being like, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Even being like that young at a point in time where, thank you. Even
close to it.
Sorry. Even when being like at the age you were still pretty young, but being in that scenario where you have such an intense like situation going on around you, Like, did you feel like you had to almost be a protector of like your family and your sisters, especially since they were so much younger than you?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. My family was very like anti-gun, and like we didn't have the armed guards and stuff like that. And for me, I was seeing a lot of violence. I was seeing like my friends at school were getting kidnapped or broken into. They'd throw like poison meat over your fence, poison your dog, like come in and do whatever they wanted. Wow. So I felt vulnerable, you know, as a 14, 15-year-old.
Sure, man.
And I also didn't feel like we were prepared for something to happen.
Yeah.
Our dog was a little bit bigger now, but still, you know, we didn't have the security, the armed guards that like a lot of people had.
Yeah.
That were in our same scenario. So yeah, I definitely felt like, you know, I had like evacuation plans, and like I had stuff set up like in my head, and where, yeah, if something were to go wrong, I was going to try, and I felt like I was the one that had to do that for my family.
Dude, and you're a teenager.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see what you're saying about growing up quick.
Yeah.
Just the perspective on the world that you would have alone, like from experiencing such poverty in multiple nations. And then on top of that, now you have your own security and safety that you have to worry about. I mean, how could that not mold you into like what you were, you know, what you do now?
Yeah. And the other thing is it's hard to live in an environment where you're not sure if you're going to make it through the day.
That's intense, dude, for a kid.
Yeah.
That's intense.
And for anybody, but especially a kid.
Yeah.
And seeing evidence of other people who didn't make it through that day. So it's pretty easy to live in fear, like when you're in those scenarios and in those countries, and fear can just cripple you, right? Like you don't want to do anything. You're scared of everything.
Yeah.
Your head gets the best of you and stuff. So at one point, I had to make a decision to like not be afraid anymore. And once I chose that, which I don't think a kid should have to choose, but
no.
Once I made that decision for myself, Haiti became a lot more fun. Mm-hmm. And I was able to like live more of a normal life and just, one day at a time. But I've already accepted my fate if, you know, that were to happen or whatever. So I'm not going to worry about it. If it happens,
you can probably also see with, you know, your faith and being a Christian, where probably during that time, the Lord protected you guys. Mm-hmm. You know, I look back on my life, and I'm a prodigal son, dude, big time. I've told you before when you came up here, I was like, oh, cool, you're a missionary's kid. That's awesome, man. And, you know, I look back now and see situations that I was in or put myself in, whether it's at work or off duty doing whatever I was doing. And I'm like, thank you. You're like, wow, that could have gone really bad.
Yeah.
Really, really bad. So I'm sure you can see that in your life, your family's life. You know, that's something that's pretty powerful too, especially what your family was doing.
Yeah.
You know, so does your dad still do missionary work? Is he kind of like retired? God, please don't say he's dead.
No.
I was like, oh, God. Yeah, like, why'd I say that?
Why would you bring that up? Yeah. No, he's fine.
Okay, good.
No, my family, and we can dig into this too. They're all good. They're all fine. But the Haiti earthquake in 2010 brought them back to the States for good.
So they were still there. Wow, were you there in 2010?
I was.
You were at the fire department. Or no, were you
Let's see. No, I wasn't hired yet.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
But I was visiting. So
you were visiting.
I had moved to California.
Oh my God.
My family, we all moved to California for like 2 years.
Okay.
And by that point, this was after Haiti. By that point, I was 18. I knew I wanted to be a firefighter. I'd gotten established with the Explore program.
Oh, cool. Hey, I was right there with you. LA County?
LA County.
Oh, man. Let's go.
Post 16. And you had a dude on like 2 episodes ago, post 16.
Yeah.
Rosas or Anthony or something like that. Anyway, I was like, I didn't know him. I think he's a little bit older than me, but I was like, dude, post 16.
That's all post 3.
Oh boy.
But either way, I knew I wanted to be a firefighter.
That's
and
cool.
The missionary work kind of pushed me into that too, helping people.
Yeah.
Exciting, unpredictable, all that stuff. But my family moved from California after 2 years back to Haiti. And I was like, I got to stay here. I know what I'm being called to do now. I want to be a firefighter. I'm on that path. EMT, the explorers, the fire classes, all that stuff. I had like a good focus. And so I didn't move back with them. The option was there. But I was like, nope, I gotta do my own thing here now. So I was out of the house by 18, and my family left me. So it's like a little bit opposite.
House in Haiti?
I was out here on my own trying to hustle and survive in LA. But family moved back to Haiti, and this was like 2009. So not even a year before the January 12th, 2010 Haiti earthquake. That was a 7.0, 39 seconds long, killed 300,000 people, and left 1 million more homeless.
And you were there.
So I went back after 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
To visit, and I got there a couple days before the earthquake, and it was just insane. Like,
okay, so
absolutely
where
insane.
were you when the earthquake happened? Were you outside, in a room, hotel? Like, where were you?
So the capital of Haiti is Port-au-Prince, and I was in that city, and it's a mountainous city. So there's like mountains all the way down to the beach.
Okay.
And I was like down in the city at an orphanage on the second floor. And when the earthquake started, I didn't know it was an earthquake right away. Even living in California, like, I'd never experienced anything substantial.
Yeah.
And to me, it felt like a Big Mac truck was like starting to rumble down the road. And this was just like a few seconds. And then it got more and more and more intense to where our building was shaking. And
oh, dude.
there was the lady that owned that orphanage was a paramedic. I think she lived in California actually for a little bit of time, but she's like more retirement age and missionary now in Haiti. And she yelled earthquake. She knew, she had more experience, right? And I'm like, oh shoot, earthquake. Okay. So second floor of this orphanage, I'm up against this railing. So I hold on to the railing, and I'm starting to like plan my escape route. I was like, okay, what if this building goes down? What am I going to do? Am I going to ride it down? Probably a bad idea. I saw a truck down below. I'm like, all right, I'm going to jump on that truck. The shocks will kind of absorb my fall.
Crazy.
And
like every guy in an action movie. I'm jumping for the truck.
Yeah.
I got this.
So fortunately, I didn't have to do that. The building we were in stood, but there was buildings all around us going down. And it was noisy, dusty. After like 5 seconds, probably, that's when it started to become scary and intense. And that's when like structures started to fail around us, and everything in our building that could fall down fell down. Like every table or chairs were flipped over, all the cabinets were on the ground, all the pictures were off the wall, all the kids have fallen down.
Yeah.
110 kids at this orphanage.
Unbelievable.
I'm sure that must have been chaos, even dealing with them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're kids. You know, they don't know what's going on.
So yeah, all the kids are screaming, quite a few of the adults too. And so once it stopped, we got all the kids off the second floor, the second floor was a special needs area. So we like carried all those kids out first, and then got the rest of the kids out. And this orphanage is surrounded by walls. So my firefighter, not hired yet, but some of the training in me was like, all right, collapse them. We got to, stay away from the building, stay away from the walls. So we got in like little groups where it seemed safer, and sat on the ground because aftershocks started hitting, and the aftershocks were like 5.0 and bringing down remaining, struggling buildings that were just barely hanging on, bringing more bringing down more buildings. And over the next couple weeks, there were hundreds of aftershocks.
Wow.
But yeah, so this was almost 5 p.m. in the evening, so dusk, and I wanted to go out and help, but I felt like I was needed with the kids, like a lot of kids to handle.
Yeah.
And I thought my dad knew where I was. There's like a couple places I could have been, and I was like, all right, I probably shouldn't go wandering. Like, I'll probably stay where he thinks I might be. And no cell phones worked. Like, all the towers like either went down or there's like millions of people trying to text and make phone calls.
Yeah. Oh man.
But at the same time, we didn't know like how devastating this earthquake was at this point. I was like, hope everybody's okay. You know, like we didn't see like anybody die like right in front of us when it was happening, and we couldn't see anything around us because of walls and buildings and stuff. So yeah, I had absolutely no idea like how devastating it was initially. Mm-hmm. And so I just waited and really wanted to run out there and make sure everybody else was okay, but I knew I was needed where I was at. So I waited probably a couple hours, and my dad showed up.
Oh, good.
And he had a bad, serious look on his face, like a look I'd probably never seen on him before. And he was like, Trevor, I need to talk to you. And he pulls me aside, and he's like, I went back to the apartments where your mom and your two sisters were, and nobody's alive there. And it was a 5-story apartment on the edge of a mountain. They lived on the bottom floor, and it had completely collapsed, pancaked down. So he didn't tell me they were dead. He just said he went back there, couldn't find anybody alive.
Dude, how... I'm almost a loss for words right now for your dad to even come and find you. All this chaos has happened. He might think his rest of his family's passed. He doesn't know where you are.
Yeah.
That poor man. And then he finally sees you, but to deliver that information, I mean, how did you even receive that?
I didn't believe him.
He had denial probably, huh?
Yeah. I was, so back to the God thing and being in all these different countries. We've always trusted God to take care of us. Mm-hmm. And, my thought has always been he's going to take care of us. So like, why would he put us in a situation where we trusted him and then we get killed?
Yeah.
So that was my initial thought. And a little backstory on my dad. He's at this point the director of World Vision in Haiti.
Wow. And
he was the first point of contact that the U.S. had with Haiti. So Wolf Blitzer, CNN called World Vision.
Wow.
A couple seconds after the earthquake. And
I would have told him to pound sand.
Yeah.
Stuff to do.
He's like,
busy.
What do you know? And my dad's like, we have no idea what's going on right now. Like, no numbers, nothing.
Your poor dad, dude.
And then he's like, I gotta find my family. So, so I went with my dad. He had a car, and a cool car. It was bulletproof. It had like sirens and stuff. Yeah,
the thick windows and doors. Dude,
the windows don't roll down and stuff. So, he did have a cool car, but it took forever to navigate the roads because now there's bodies in the roads. Now there's collapsed walls. There's lots of blood. As people are getting uncovered, dead bodies are getting dragged out into the street.
Oh my gosh.
The people who are alive are being like kind of sheltered in place and like taken care of there. And it's dark too. So Haiti's hard enough to drive in like normally.
Right.
But now there's like all these extra
add rubble bodies. It's dark. Oh my God. Yeah. You guys are going through it.
So we decided to go to my dad's pastor's house, who lives up in the mountains, where it's safer. They are less affected by the earthquake, and they have a satellite phone. So we eventually made it up there. First time getting on a phone, and other than CNN.
Yeah.
But his satellite phone worked, and we called the states. We called my mom's parents, told them we're okay. We're still looking, we're still trying to get everybody together.
Jeez.
And then my dad called a mentor of his and just asked him to just told him what was going on and pray for us. And
We need a miracle.
Yeah.
Straight up.
So I couldn't sleep that night.
I can't imagine.
On top of all the thoughts going through my head, aftershocks were again and again and again hitting us. And we're like, is this? So the other thing was that earthquake preliminary to a bigger, earthquake? We're also thinking about that.
Yeah.
There was also tsunami warnings and stuff like that. We had heard the prisons broke open. So there's all these bad people out. So a lot's going on.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking okay, maybe one of them survived. I'm trying to,
Yeah.
or maybe at that point I was still in total denial. I'm yeah, we're gonna find them. And then the next morning I woke up. I was like, all right, we gotta go right away. Let's get to work. Let's go get shovels. Let's go to the office, grab all the stuff we need. And my dad's like, no, stop. You need to eat. We're going to need our strength today. He's very logical and reasonable. And
Was he? Did you ever during that time see him get emotional?
he doesn't get very emotional. He got emotional for him.
I got you. Okay.
Which isn't much.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of the same way. But at that point I was passionate about going to find him. So I was amped up. And he's like, no, we need to eat. He was right. So I sat down. We tried to eat some food. It's going to be a long day. And during the breakfast, he starts talking about funeral plans.
Wow.
And that's when it really hit me. He truly believes that they've died. And I had to get up and kind of excuse myself. And
yeah.
I walked over to the balcony, and now we're up in the mountains overlooking Haiti. Hadn't seen it in the daylight, so it was early in the morning, and earthquake happened pretty much at night, and we were down in it. So I hadn't seen Haiti since the sun came up yet, since the earthquake occurred. And I walked over to the balcony, and this is such a vivid memory for me that I still think about it a lot, but the sun was rising. It was just piercing through smoke. There's smoke headers everywhere because the earthquake created a bunch of fires. And there's dust in the air still. There's still just this haze from all the rubble. And then there's singing and wailing. You can just hear the whole country just mourning and upset, confused, scared, all sorts of this emotions coming out of this country. Wow. And it's just so alive. This, yeah, it's just it was a
that's going to be forever etched in your
yeah. And that's when I started to cry. It was so overwhelming, I guess, and also the thought that now my family might not be alive and stuff. So
well, that adrenaline dump and then the realization of the gravity of the situation probably just smacked you right in the face.
Yeah. Looking
at it and being able to see holy smokes, look at all this devastation I'm around.
Yeah. And we still, this kind of confirmed it's worse than I thought.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the whole country. And so that hit me really hard, and I'm holding it together. Sometimes I tear up during this part. I'm
yeah, you got me tearing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hold back. Man. That's a lot, man.
I don't like to cry, but sometimes it hits me out of nowhere.
You're good, bro. But let it out, baby.
I'm holding strong so far.
Oh, you're doing good. I've had many nights of crying, trust me.
So anyway, before long, we're heading down the mountain. My dad's pastor's driving, and then my dad's sitting in the front passenger seat. I'm sitting behind him. We're holding hands. We're starting to pray about the day, and I'm looking out the window at all these people, and some are hiking up the mountain with suitcases. Yeah. Some are hiking down the mountain with handfuls of clothes. A lot of people were bloody or dusty, and like people don't know what they're doing or where they're going or like what to do. And I started like making eye contact with people, and I'm a different American person. I stand out in Haiti. Speak a different language.
Just a little bit.
All like very different culture, all that stuff, right? But we were all brothers and sisters at that time because we had all experienced this tragedy together. And so at that point, we're just, let's get through this together. And there's like a deep connection there, even though I didn't know these people.
Yeah.
So we get down the mountain, we get to my dad's office, and we pull in the front gate. We jump out, we start looking for supplies, tarps, water, shovels, body bags for other people, not our family, other people that we may come across. And we start hearing yelling at the World Vision headquarters office. And my mom and my sister are coming in the back gate. Oh. And my, let's see, how old was she? The 14-year-old sister. So, the sister that is not the youngest was helping my mom walk. My sister had shoes on. My mom did not. My mom was all beat up. And they were both kind of bloody and covered in debris and stuff.
Unreal.
And I didn't see my youngest sister though. So I was like, oh man, maybe she didn't make it, you know. But somebody else came in like carrying my youngest sister. So they all made it. Yeah. The youngest one couldn't see. She had like debris in her eyes and stuff. But yeah, they all made it. And so we held each other, cried. It was like,
what a moment.
The most beautiful thing.
I'm lost for words almost here right now because I'm thinking about my family. And, we've been through, my brother passed away in a car accident in 2004. I know what they went through. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
But to imagine it's just you and your dad and your sisters and your mom have been killed. I can't even imagine the emotions that you and your father must have been going through. And then to see them coming up, man, again, what a moment.
Yeah.
What a moment of relief, of thankfulness, gratitude, probably. I mean, you guys had to have squeezed each other so tight in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Going from thinking you lost everything to getting it back is incredible.
Yeah.
It's like a second chance, you know?
Yeah. Well, how did they make it out of that building? Were they even in the building?
Yeah, they were in it. So they have there should be a movie about them. Cause
that's what I was going to say. I mean, you guys better write this down.
Yeah. I was going to say next podcast interview.
Get your mom and sisters over here, man.
Yeah. So they had just gotten home from school, and normally they get home, they all split up, go to their rooms, whatever.
Yeah.
They just so happened to all be together talking about the day. And when the earthquake started, it started pancaking down. And I guess they're on the bottom floor, so I guess it got to their floor last. And in the middle of it pancaking, the wall right next to them broke open. And they jumped out because they knew like, oh, this is it. And all three of them jumped out. And this is up on the side of a mountain, so they're like tumbling down the mountain. The building's tumbling behind them, like rubble and debris and stuff. Two of them are barefoot. They spent the night in a tree. Immediately, like looting and stuff started happening, and Haiti's like not a safe place for women.
Oh, of course,
in general, but especially after an earthquake, it's like very dangerous. So yeah, they hid up in a tree, and that's why my dad couldn't find them. And they hitched a ride the next morning to the office, and we were reunited.
Oh my gosh, dude! Dude, I've been through some interesting things in my life, and a lot of them have been from bad decisions. Some are out of my control. But it goes to show you the magnificence and power that we have in our faith and what God can do. And some people are like, oh, well, other people died. It's like, look, things happen, but I mean, just to hear the story and the wall just breaks open and they jump out. I mean, dude, It's amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing. You can see the protection that he had over them during that time. And, it strikes me because I have been really digging kind of into my own faith and Bible and stuff. I don't attend church every Sunday. I do go, but, there's been points in my life where I've been in this place of waiting in pain, waiting in frustration, waiting in letdown. And you're sitting there, you're like, dude, where are you? Like, where? And my prayers, I tell people, are very gritty, very tough. There's been times I'll be like, I'm like, where the F are you right now? I don't like this. This is painful. This is terrible. You said you loved me. You said you'd be here for me. Why is this happening? What's going on? But it also reminds me of Friday when Jesus was crucified, right? And then they had that day, 3 days later, he rose from the dead. I can't imagine what they probably thought during those 3 days, that waiting period where all seemed lost. And then, they go to the tomb and the angel says, why are you looking for the living among the dead? He's alive. It's so, I look at those things and it's so powerful where you're just like in these moments of terror, frustration, pain, letdown. You're like, what is going on in my life? And it's like, the Lord's like there sometimes, just give it a moment. Yeah. I got you. Give it a second. How powerful that story is, man. I mean, I'm trying really hard right now to not choke up, but it's beautiful and amazing in so many different ways. What can come from what you think is tragedy and triumph can come from it. It's powerful, man. It's huge.
Yeah.
I can't imagine how much tighter or closer, that has made your family. I'm sure all of you have had to deal with the trauma of that. I'm sure that's not easy to get through, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
They especially for them, they went through more than I did. And then they got whisked back to the U.S. We got them to the U.S. Embassy as fast as we could.
Wow.
The Air Force was picking up Americans, especially injured ones, and prioritizing them back to the U.S. to get care.
Was your mom beat up or really severely injured?
So she was, we thought she broke her arm and her leg. And I think she had some cracks and stuff, but
some minor cracks.
Yeah, I mean,
big deal. I just jumped down a mountain from my house and hid in a tree.
Yeah, she's older than I am, and everything hurts me now. I can't imagine.
I feel you, bro.
Yeah, I can't imagine what she went through, and she got beat up pretty good, but not critically. Yeah, she's good now. But yeah, the psychological trauma from that. They spent years, with PTSD and going to therapy and whatnot, trying to overcome that. And loud noises would affect them, and shaking, and it took them a long time to get over that. For me, I actually ended up staying in Haiti for a couple weeks. So my dad took my mom and sisters, and I was like, Dad, I gotta stay. I got my EMT. I've done some fire training.
Dude, look at my guy. I like it, man.
I knew enough of the language to get in trouble and get around a little bit. And I expected my dad to talk me out of it. And he's like, you're right, dude. You got to stay. He handed me the car keys. I'm like, okay.
That's pretty cool. You had that with your dad, though. He probably was like, my son's a man. He's got this. That's pretty cool.
So I spent a couple weeks. I worked with a search and rescue team.
Okay.
We pulled body parts out, but nobody alive. You've heard of LA County's big USAR team?
Oh yeah, they're number one all the time, dude.
Yeah.
They're first up.
So I saw them, and I happened to be wearing a Station 32 LA County shirt and an LA County hat. And I lost everything else I had in the apartment because I was staying in the apartment with my family. So all my belongings were gone, except the clothes on my back, and it happened to be county stuff. And so
the odds of that,
Task Force 2 shows up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, guys, just at the U.S. Embassy, I'm trying to get their attention. And there's a fence between us, but one of the guys comes over, and I was like, hey, I'm an explorer and a county. And he's like, what the heck is
what
this
are you doing in Haiti?
kid doing
How
here?
the heck did you get here?
So I gave him the Cliff Note version, and I was like, can I help you guys? I'd love to join the team. And he's like, nah, sorry, kid. Can't do that because, USAID and FEMA and NAFTA and all that stuff, all their governing entities, organizations, like they just are not going to have it. Right.
Yeah.
So that kind of crushed me a little bit, but I was like, all right, one day I'm going to get hired and one day I'm going to get on that team. And eventually I did. But in the meantime, yeah, I found a smaller search and rescue team, and they were kind of like a team. They had a pilot, Army Ranger, cadaver dog, paramedic, a leader,
dude, all the crucial
and
things you
security,
need, right?
yeah, security dude. So small little team, and I was like I knew the country, and like I knew kind of how to help us navigate around. So I went with them.
Wow.
And yeah, again, like no like live saves, unfortunately, but
still important work, man.
yeah,
Still important work.
you know, we got to try, and I got to meet a lot of people during that time. So that kind of like paved the way for the next thing that I did, where I met up with these group of helicopter pilots. They had 3 helicopters, independently wealthy, flew them down on their own dime, and
That's awesome.
They were just trying to figure out the best way to help.
Wow.
So we'd take food from the airport. Food was getting dropped off from all these different countries, but it wasn't getting out because of riots. Like people couldn't handle like the stuff. Like they were so hungry they couldn't just like get line up, and it was
Fight
just
for it, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Steal.
It was getting really dangerous. So I was involved in like 2 riots on the ground trying to distribute, and it just did not work. So with the helicopters, we'd fly, we'd hover, we'd drop like cans of beans and food and stuff, and it was amazing. We got tons of food out all day long. 3 helicopters moving like around the clock.
Are these small helicopters? Like small private ones, are like 2-seaters, 3-seaters, something like that?
Yeah, there's 2 R-44s.
Okay.
And then there's one that was a little bit bigger. It's I don't know. There was one that was like a pretty expensive, like probably $2 million helicopter that fit, I think, like 6 people.
Okay.
And we'd load that thing up like pretty good. Hover over rivers sometimes, like it helped kind of disperse. And we'd sleep in the Dominican at night at a baseball field. They'd land the helicopters at this baseball field. We had security. It was safer over there. They weren't really affected by the earthquake very much. And then we'd get up, fly back to Haiti the next day.
How tired were you guys by the end of doing those cycles over and over and over? I mean, even not just you, but for the pilots having to focus.
Yeah.
You know, the attention it takes to pilot a helicopter. I mean, it's a flying toolbox, right? They're not made to fly, but they do.
Yeah.
You know, to hover and watch out for trees, and, you know, the weight of the load of the food, and having another passengers in there like yourself, the rescuers. I mean, man, that's a lot, dude.
So what I found was, and this is why I had to like keep moving around and finding work to do. There was tons of work to do, but you just had to go find it. People get tired really quick. Mm-hmm. So the search and rescue teams, most of them were done after the first week. And that's also due to like viability of, you know, your rescues. But the helicopter team, they were done after a week. And then, so I'm like, all right, now what am I going to do? And I found a MASH hospital. So all these makeshift like circus tents were set up at the airport, and University of Miami was like overseeing it. And they had just hundreds of people a day coming through there. Like they were doing amputations. They were doing like all people were up to like 21 days after the earthquake. Bodies were still like being pulled out, and on top of the violence. Remember we talked about the prisons breaking open. So there's like really bad dudes out there, and there's gang violence and gunshot wounds we're getting, and the normal stuff like car accidents. So they were treating all those types of people. I went back to the apartment that collapsed to see if I could get any of my stuff. Like I didn't have my passport, my wallet, phone, anything. And I went back. I went in as far as I could, which wasn't very far. And somebody had already like looted the house, found my wallet, took the money, but like my national registry card was in there, for example.
For EMT?
Yeah. And I had just gotten it. So I was like super proud of it. And this hospital asked me for it. And I pulled it out. It was like, it looked like a rock had crushed it.
Yeah.
So it was all like beat up, and I handed it to them, and they looked it up. And I'm like, I can't believe they're doing this. Like we're in like emergency, like third world country, like national disaster. They looked it up, and then they're like, all right, do whatever you can. Like, you're a doctor now, you know.
Cut this guy's leg off.
Yeah,
Right?
no, seriously. Like, I was helping with amputations. I was pushing drugs, starting IVs, learning. You know, like I was getting a nurse or a doctor to like help me, but they were letting me get in there and do way more than I'd be able to do here in the States. So that was pretty cool. So I did that as long as I could, and that was the real burner. Like, you would work until you dropped, and then you'd find a cot, an MRE, refuel, take a nap, and then back at it.
How many hours a day would you say you were working?
Probably 20. Like, it was just
gosh, just pretty much nonstop.
Yeah.
Sleep for a few hours, 4 hours or whatever it is, and then go right back to it.
Yeah. And then before long, I had like seniority at the hospital. Like, the doctors would come for a few days and leave and stuff, and I'd been there over a week. So I was like, I knew my way around, you know.
Like, I'm the go-to guy.
Street cred and everything.
I'm an EMT, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had a little piece of tape. It said EMT on it, you know, so my ears. But yeah, it was burning me out too. So the last thing I did before I left Haiti, I found a group that was doing rubble removal.
Okay.
And they were cleaning pathways to wells. So a lot of wells got covered up with rubble. People couldn't get clean water. So we were like hard labor, just clearing out rocks and stuff out of these wells so that they could get water again.
Wow. How many? Yeah. So how long were you there doing that? 3 weeks?
After the earthquake, about 3 weeks, yeah.
And then to get back home, did you have to go back to the embassy or the Air Force and get home, or you just take a normal flight home?
I should have gone to the embassy now that you bring that up. No, I went to the airport, and
you're so crazy.
Everybody was like, no, like, there's no way you're getting out. Like, first of all, like, flights aren't coming into the airport. Like, airport's damaged. Only like relief planes are coming in, and you don't have money or a passport or anything.
I got my national register.
Yeah, I got this.
I don't look like anybody here. Like,
yeah, I know, right? Exactly.
That's true. So yeah, people had been camping. Like, there's tents on the tarmac. People have been camping for weeks, trying to like wait for a flight to get out of Haiti and to get home and stuff. And I just like, I felt this sense, like a God thing.
Yeah.
That I should go. It was time. I should go to the airport. And my goal was just get as far as I could. So walked in the front, walked past security, nobody stopped me, kept walking. Eventually made it out to the tarmac. There's hundreds of people out there, no planes. And I'm like, all right, now what? Before long, not more than like 10 minutes went by, somebody came up to me. They're like, hey, we have like a little puddle hopper that's going, I think it was Bahamas and then the States. And we got one seat free, you know. We felt like we should talk to you.
Way.
And I was like, well, I don't have any money. I'm just seeing how far I can get here. And they're like, no, it's okay. I don't have a passport. No, it's okay. I'm like, okay, wow. I guess I'm getting on this plane. So within 30 minutes, I was on this little tiny airplane. And yeah, we stopped in Bahamas, fueled up, and then landed in Florida. And I get to Florida, no idea what city I'm in. It's nighttime, no cell phone. Again, no money, like nothing. I borrowed a cell phone, called my dad. They hadn't really heard from me in a while.
Can I just say, I think it's actually amazing that you knew your dad's number by heart. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know any of my family's phone numbers by heart. I go right my phone, just hit dad, sister, whatever it's gonna be.
So here's why. Our phone numbers were like one number different.
Okay.
Yeah, when we signed up for the cell phones, they're like, all right, this is yours, it's yours. It's just like sequential. So that's why. Luckily, you know. But yeah, he handled it. He got me a ticket home, and he's like, you got to get to this airport, figure that one out, and you got to be there by tomorrow morning. So there's a shuttle leaving the airport, hopped on. Luckily, it was going the right direction. Made friends on that shuttle.
You're such a wild man.
Yeah, you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
And, I made friends, slept on the floor of my new friend's hotel room, had a continental breakfast for free, and then a free shuttle to the airport the next morning. And I remember there being like a little bit of trouble getting like onto my flight because I didn't have anything, like an ID and stuff. But I think I like explained myself pretty well, and then they're just like,
they probably saw you too, the same shirt all dirty.
Yeah.
Like, man, I've been through hell and back.
this
Just get
poor
me
kid.
home.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I guess that worked. So I don't think I actually saw my family. I think I went straight back to California.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of like, we should meet up soon, type of deal going on.
Wow.
But yeah, that was the Haiti story. I got home. I wanted to continue helping. I started a nonprofit.
Okay.
Building houses for earthquake survivors. So that one's called Firm Foundation, FIRME, which is the Haitian Creole spelling for strong.
Very good.
So Strong Foundation. Built 39 houses so far.
That's excellent, dude. 39.
Yeah.
Are you building more right now too?
We're trying. Yeah, right now it's always too dangerous.
Yeah.
So it continues to get like really bad and dangerous. And I just had a kid 6 months ago, and I was trying to go right before that occurred. And they're like, don't come. Nobody's leaving their houses. People are like getting killed for like leaving. Everybody's lost their job. Like, it's really bad here right now. You just can't. Like, you won't be able to do anything if you come right now. So I'm like, okay, fine. We still, have money in the account. We're ready to build, that sort of thing, raise awareness. But yeah, it's still, I got a second chance. My family got a second chance. Oh, I didn't even tell you my second chance.
Bring it.
So
Bring it.
one of the reasons I was in Haiti, one, to visit my family, but two, kind of do like a little resume builder. And I was going to teach firefighting with the United Nations. They had like a new fire program. And I was like, all right, cool. Like I got a little bit of experience. I can come and help out, at the very basic level. So I'd set that up with the United Nations, but they're like, there's still like some formalities and stuff. So come in, do the interview. They still wanted me to go through a couple hoops.
Yeah.
And so my interview was scheduled for the day of the earthquake, during the time of the earthquake. The day before the interview, I was like, I don't want to waste my time here in Haiti. Like, I'm only here for a few weeks. Let me call them and see if I could do it a day early. So they say, yeah, I could come in. I went in a day early, did the stuff. They liked me, got my ID and all that stuff. Had I not rescheduled, the building I was in completely collapsed.
Oh boy.
Everybody died. Wow. 300 people died in that building. And I definitely would have been involved with that, like if I had kept my interview day. So I was like, oh dude, I definitely dodged a bullet there. So yeah, I'm like, I for sure got a second chance. Yeah.
That's, my friend, if you can't see the hand of God in your life, bro, you blind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when I tell the story, I'm like, maybe it's happenstance, but there's too many coincidences here to say that, God didn't have his hand in everything that went on.
Oh, dude. What a story, man. I mean, of tragedy and triumph, and then also service and sacrifice. For you to stay in the country and say, I need to stay here and do it, and you just made it work. 20 hours a day, going from being in helicopters to you're in a medical tent, you're helping people, you're doing surgeries or whatever was happening in there. And then, how it all worked out is just, it's incredible. To me, I'm hearing the story for the first time. I purposely did not listen to the other podcasts you were on because I'm like, I want to hear it from my 2 ears first, like fresh, and man, it's powerful. It's really powerful. And how did that, when you came back, how long after that did you continue to pursue firefighting? Did you get hired pretty quick after that?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't get hired quickly after that. I did continue to pursue it. Let's see. I think I missed an interview with county due to being in Haiti.
Dang it.
Yeah.
Why?
So that pushed me back a year, but I was able to appeal that part, and they did give me another test. It was either the interview or I think it was the written, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, I did my written, and then it was just bad time to get hired, hiring freezes.
Yeah.
So I got hired. It took me almost 7 years from the time I started applying at 18 to the tower date.
Okay.
And I've been on, I think it'll be 9 years in February.
Hey, baby, let's go, man.
So-
About to hit that 10-year mark.
Yeah.
It goes quick.
It's gone really quick.
Dog.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
Yeah, but it's cool because you were an explorer with County. You saw them over in Haiti when you were doing that work, and now you're wearing that uniform and still serving people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it comes full circle. It's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I finished probation, and that was like goal number one, right? Like focus on that. Nothing else. Just get through probation. And then it's almost like 2 extra years of classes to get on the USAR team. So and that's on your own time, you're going and trying to sign up, and like maybe you miss it, maybe you don't, whatever, but there's a bunch of extra classes you need for those USAR classes. So I worked through those and then got on the team. And
so now when anything goes down around the world and they need search and rescue, they go, from what I understand, they go to LA County first, right?
I think so.
That's what I've always noticed. It's like counties first. They're on the C-130s gone or whatever airplane they're on,
Sounds good.
Yeah. I think they're like one of 2 international search and rescue teams. Others can go, but it's like I don't know.
They're number
like,
one.
Yeah.
You guys are varsity.
I think they're the only ones that have deployed to like 2 different countries at once.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's wild.
That's what it is.
And are you still, and then you're a paramedic now? No. Okay.
I'm a truckie.
My man sleeps all night. Dude. Okay, it's all making sense, dude.
Truckie firefighter.
Yeah, sleep till you get hungry, right?
Yep. So rough life. West Hollywood, Firehouse 8. So,
how, do you think those moments? I mean, going from your raised in a missionary home to experiencing what you did in Haiti, do you think that really helped you form kind of how you are a firefighter now, how you look at people, how you serve? Because you helped people in very, I want to say less than poor communities, probably had, nothing. And then you come back here. I mean, it's so different, right? You got to see so much of the world from a different perspective. That's had to play into your adult life working as a firefighter, even probably being a father, right?
Yeah.
And a husband.
Yeah. I think the biggest way I think it's helping me is just like my stress levels are very, like, my tolerance is very high.
Gotcha.
So my worst day is my like threshold level, right? So if my worst day is up here, and then most other people's are like kind of around here where they have, a family member die, which is horrible, and that's their worst day. I'm just able to kind of like base everything off of like the really bad days that I've had, and there've been some bad ones. And I think most of like 99.9% of my life, even in the stressfulness and in the job, is kind of like down here compared to like my past. So I'm able to like keep a level head. And focus and think straight.
Yeah, I mean, you got good practice. My goodness, dude, you got great practice getting ready for it. And I don't, I've had this talk yesterday with my sister. We went out got like brunch just to hang out, and I was just telling her like, she was asking about my job, and I said, the hardest part for me is that people will never understand in our line of work as firefighters that it's not just a cool uniform and riding around in a shiny fire engine or truck. We're called everyone's worst moment every day. You're living out someone else's trauma with them. Then we have to shut that down. And I told her, I'm like, it's a great job. It's great service, but it wears on you. It's just constant all the time. And, that's one thing I told them, like, our parents don't understand. They don't get it. It's like, oh, hey, work out, government job, retirement. Like, you have no idea what we go through on a day-to-day basis and what we see. And I was just telling her like how I've had to learn to try my best to leave work at work and come home and be present and actually have emotion. Because I've been married once, I'm divorced once, and own it. I messed up a lot, and a big part of me towards the end was being so shut down and reaching for anything that would just give me pleasure and happiness, and not knowing I wasn't emotionally available. I would come home just like I was at work, just quiet. What's wrong? Nothing. I'm fine. And all of a sudden, you're not being, I'm fine. You break, God, stop asking me, but learning now through, we have Counseling Team International at our fire department. and it's free for us, our families, and it's been such a good thing for me. You know, I've been going a lot. I haven't gone in a little bit. I would say probably like 3 weeks or more, over a month now. But I was going to them like once a month. Excuse me, once a week. You know, and realizing, hey, like what you see, what you deal with on a day-to-day basis, including the other trauma in your life of other things you've been through, like it'll stack up, and you have to learn to process that and get it out, and not just bury it and keep burying it and keep burying it. You know, and that's something I've had to learn over my career, dude. Is, you know, coming home and being present and being emotionally open, being available, not just being shut down. Yeah. You know, something I've really, really had to work on. I only have 17 years going now in the fire service, but it's enough time where it's like, man, you've seen a lot of bad stuff. You know, same with Ollie. We've worked at busy stations. You're up all night, all the time. And, you know, you go from delivering a baby to seeing someone, you know, beat up and, you know, maimed in a car, to someone hung themselves, and now you had a structure fire, and it's like 7 a.m. comes. All right, go home and be a father, husband, son, you know, be normal. It's like, man, that was wild. Like, this is crazy. Like, I read something the other day that in the normal civilian life, most people only see 1 or 2 traumatic deaths, maybe 2. We see it shiftly. Yeah. It's not normal. How do you process that? How do you get through that? How do you deal? You know, how do you cope? And that's something for me. I've tried so hard now with the years I have on the fire service to really start to manage properly. Like, it's not weak or weird to say, I go to therapy. It's good. You need to work these things out. You need to talk to somebody. But what has also helped me with that is coming back to my faith. You know, putting Christ first in my life. And has it been easy? By no means, no, bro. I have some terrible habits I've had to kick. And it's hard, but I can see, you know, for myself, a greater purpose in what we do as firefighters, but also in my private life. We're serving people, we're helping others, but also the people who serve need help at times. They need to be served as well, you know. All I have to say, it's like, it's interesting, like hearing your story and what you've been through, and you're sitting here now, this dude who can talk about it and be open, and you're still involved in the fire service and doing what you do, and how amazing that story is. And you can see God's hand in your life. Me personally, like listening to you, I'm like, wow, talk about a man of faith who just went for it, stepped out in faith, and just did what he felt he was called to do in an emergency. And he made it work, and it worked. Like, dude, you had nothing. You had nothing. You got through the city. You helped all these people. You did all these things that you didn't do it for fame or to look at me. You did it because it needed to be done. Yeah. You know, that speaks volumes of your character and who you are. This is not me just like praising you, but we need more people like that. Right? Yeah, I mean, we live in a time where everyone just steps back and wants to film and look like, why don't you freaking help the person, dude? Like, come on, man. Yeah. So it's really, it's encouraging to hear your story and to hear what you've been through and to see the man that you are now, and that you still stuck to your guns and getting, you know, hired with the fire service. And you even said it, I'm going to work for that department one day. You're doing it. You know, but it doesn't come without hard work. No, you know, there comes a lot of sacrifice with this job. Yeah. Getting in, and then once you're in, you know, so it's amazing to see that, man. I mean, I might sound weird, but I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, man to man, dude, I'm super proud of you. That's huge. And, you know, I hope that you're still, I'm sure some of those things have probably left a lasting scar image in your brain, but, you know, there's nothing the Lord can't handle, is what I've learned. Yeah. You know, it takes time. You know, it's not like the Lord heals things overnight or things happen instantly, but think about everything in your life and how everything lined up perfect for you to be there on that day at that time in that orphanage when all that went down.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
No accident.
Yeah, no, it's not. I think of things like that sometimes, or, you know, things that I've been through or things that have happened. I'm like, how did this all happen that I had happened to be here at this time, at this moment, to be here and help this person? Yeah. Isn't that wild? Yeah. It's like sometimes it leaves you speechless. It's incredible. Oh, dude.
Definitely something I've thought about before.
I'm sure. I mean, your whole family probably. Yeah. Are they doing good now, though?
Yeah.
They're doing okay.
Yeah. No. My parents are almost retired. They're semi-retired now. Good. And the older sister is married. The other sister's in college. Like, everybody's happy, doing great. We're close. We talk every day. Still.
That's good, dude. Family's important, man.
Of course, mom's good. She's a gangster.
Dude,
Dude, she survived a crisis with 2 little girls. Like, that is unbelievable.
That's wild, dude. So now I know your significant other, your wife, knows this story, dude. My goodness. I mean, what does she think about all that? She's a believer too, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure if so I get to share my story a lot.
Yeah.
And that's part of the therapy for me too, like getting on a podcast or speaking for a fundraiser or whatnot.
Yeah.
So she's heard it a lot, but I don't know if it's ever been like just me and her, like, hey, and then this happened, and then that happened, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. That's
She's like, whatever, just fix the baseboard.
She's probably sick of it by now. I'm like, hey, you check out that last podcast, you know? Like, I sent it to you twice, you know?
Yeah, you haven't played it yet.
I should ask her though, like her thoughts, you know? I know she's proud of me. She loves me, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, man.
And she's actually like really good as far as taking care of like my mental health and stuff. Like,
that's huge.
Every shift
That's awesome.
She wants to know, like, she asks me, she takes time. She's intentional with her questions, like how is the shift? Like, she wants to hear everything. And she's like, you hear, I don't know, there's like a lot of different firewives out there and stuff. And not to categorize anybody, but she's like top tier, like solid. She gets it. Like, she understands the job. She understands like what a firefighter who is a man like needs from a wife that isn't a firefighter and stuff like that. So I can't like say enough good things about her.
Well, it's to have that support at home and have a solid home is huge. For me, if my private life is in disarray, I am not good at work. It's hard to be present. It's hard to do my job. Like, I need to have my home life solid. I need to have that support. So when you have that, I mean, it's like, it's priceless, dude. I mean, my goodness, to have a good woman in your life that's going to help you and take care of you, and both of you are meeting each other's needs. I mean, you can't put a price tag on that, dude.
Yeah.
You cannot put a price tag on that, dude. Okay. I need to bring something up for you. You also have, on top of all the wild and amazing things you've done and having a nonprofit, you have another company called the Williams Key.
Williams Key, yep.
So this is pretty cool because we're all first responders here. Let's go. I'm going to bring this out right now. Oops. Let me get that second. Okay. You need to, I'm going to put this on camera. Can we see this there?
Yeah, you got it in the camera.
Beautiful. Williams Key. And look what my guy did on the back, dude. Personalized it. Let's go.
Woo.
Hey.
Yeah.
That thing is sick.
This is cool. Okay, so this is kind of like I wouldn't say forcible entry tool. It's more of like a lockout kit. Like,
yeah, it's like there's a couple different terms thrown around out there: respectful entry, soft entry.
Okay.
Like non-invasive type stuff, or even covert entry for like the SWAT and stuff. You know, they want to be quiet with it. But yeah, it doesn't do damage. So. It doesn't work on every door. So like your deadbolts and stuff, if you have a deadbolt, don't worry, you're safe. Like, lock it up at night. This tool's not getting in your house in the wrong hands or whatever. So it's sold to firefighters, police, actually a lot of agencies now. But yeah, it's been great.
How did you come up with this? Because I remember I've seen this quite a few times, at least on social media, like the commercials and stuff. And I mean, it's pretty ingenious. What sparked you to kind of come up with this?
So my background is in door installation. So one of the things that I did before getting hired was as a carpenter, construction worker carpenter.
Following Jesus' footsteps.
Yeah, exactly. Specifically doors.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I got to install several thousand doors before getting on the job, and finish carpentry work, you have a lot of specialty tools.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this concept has been around probably 100 years plus, you know, like not that specific tool, but the concept of like slipping a lock, you know, so a shove knife or whatnot. So we were always making our own types of tools, things for getting into doors. When you're installing locks all the time, you like really get to know them really well. So I'm good at picking locks. And I had a handful of tools I'd made for myself, and I had a little wizard bag I'd carry around with me when I first got on the job.
Satchel.
No, not quite. But I had a pretty crude version of what's now known as the Williams key, and I'd pull it out all the time, like every day. I was getting into doors every day. Guys were seeing it. My district in West Hollywood, there's like so many different types of buildings and doors and locks. There's thousands of combinations out there. So again, it doesn't work on everything, but there's every day I was getting into doors with it. And before long, people were like, hey, that stupid thing you made, like, can I get one of those? You know, like nobody's ever going to give you a compliment in the fire service.
Right.
So I made a couple. I actually had them fabricated because it takes a long time to hand make them. But I had like a small batch, like 10 or 20 made, gave them out just to help guys be better at their craft, be quicker in the door, hopefully save a life or whatever.
Yeah.
And fires were breaking doors like pretty much all the time.
Best part
right?
of the job.
Yeah.
So, get the brake stuff.
And there's definitely like, I love the Halligan and the rotor saw, all that stuff. There's places for those. But there are some scenarios where we don't have to break the door.
No.
And you know, you're doing a welfare check or something. If you can get in without doing damage, you know, the new door is like $2,000. So, not everybody has the money or wants to replace a door, you know.
Well, I know, bro. I just ordered 2. They were very expensive.
See, there you go.
And they're, I had them custom made, like different. Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
Well, part of our job is property conservation. So it's like, as a business owner, that's exactly what you kind of want to see is a product out there that's going to save me from having to replace an entire door just because my alarm was going off, you know. It's like,
Or you get the wrong house or whatever. You break their door.
That doesn't happen. That does not.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah, I might have been on a couple of those.
Yep. So, before long, once I gave some out, like word spread, and then like people were hitting me up I didn't even know. And then I was like, all right, I got to I want to help guys, right? I want to put tools in people's hands if they want them and they think it's something that's going to help them be better at their job and stuff. But I was like, I can't do it for free. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, we'll do I'll make like 100, you know, and see if guys want them. And those sold quick. And before long, it just turned into a thing.
Wow.
Made an Instagram website. And now it's just like all 50 states, 30 countries, international. I've got about 20 distributors.
Dude, I love it. So, that's what I love seeing, man.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
It's me super busy now. Yeah. It's like, it's taking over.
It's a good problem to have.
It's a monster.
Yeah, yeah. My gosh. So do people, when they order online, it doesn't, you'll probably see it, but is it sent somewhere else and made and shipped off? Is that kind of how it works?
No, I ship everything.
Oh, you ship it all? Mm-hmm. Oh, man, you are working.
Yeah. So,
Trevor.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I have a fabrication warehouse. They make all the tools. Okay. So I don't do that part. The 20 distributors, your coffee cup included. Fire Brigade is one of them.
Old John, dude. Yeah. I love that guy.
So, John's a distributor, and Chief Miller, the Fire Store, bunch of good ones out there carrying the key. They are kind of my hands in the field, right? So they're filling orders too.
How did you reach out to Chief Miller and then John from the brigade?
John was a friend of a friend, so somebody connected me to him, and he's killing it. He's doing great.
I've had many conversations with him. Yeah, I've been we've been trying to get him on here, but the schedules just don't keep lining up. So I've just told him, look, February I'm flying you out. It is what it is. I'm going to fly you from San Diego to freaking LA. It is what it is.
He's a good personality, so he'd be great on the show.
Yeah.
Some reach out to me, some I reach out to. Just depends.
Okay.
I've got a couple. I think I used to have one in Canada, but the shipping was like getting too expensive. I have one in Tasmania, which I think is part of Australia.
What? Yeah.
Australia is actually probably the third biggest consumer of Williams Key products.
Excellent.
Other than Canada.
Wow.
And then I just got one in Puerto Rico, but that's U.S. I guess. So it's crazy. Like I'd say like every other week, a companies hitting me up. Hey, do you mind if we carry your key? You know, what does that look like? And I'm
That's
like,
cool.
Yeah. So they're basically my employees. Like I don't have employees, but my distributors are like fulfilling that need of like fulfilling orders, advertising, just getting it out there.
Now, do you have fire departments that kind of like, hey, we're going to order, 100 of these and put one in all of our rigs or something like that? Do you have fire departments doing that as well? Oh man, that's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, there's been some big orders. I think since October, we've sold about 4,000 of them.
Wow.
Over 20,000 total. So they're just
interesting, man.
And it's been it's like not slowing down, it's just like ramping up right now. Like I'm having trouble.
Wow.
Like keeping up and
it's
stuff.
It's a good problem.
So, yeah, it's a great problem.
Great problem to have, dude.
So yeah, we're trying to figure that out because two babies in diapers right now.
Oh, you have two?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, and they're both in diapers?
Yeah.
Yeah, like twins or
no,
just real close?
Real close. And so I'm like, dude, there's not enough time in the world for me right now. So
yeah,
trying to navigate that, but it's all good.
That's super cool, man. I mean, the future of this, it's pretty much endless for you, dude. This could keep going for a long time because the fire department's always going to be around. Same with police, SWAT, all that. Guys
are always getting hired. Guys will lose these, which is why I recommend engraving it.
Yeah.
$10 more.
Put that plug in, baby.
But yeah, and then like a new version comes out or whatever, and then guys want that too. Or this kind of like built the foundation for Williams Key Incorporated or whatever. But I've had like 10 other products come out that probably wouldn't sell on their own, but because the brand is like a recognized
since you're established,
brand now, established, guys were like, yeah, I'll buy a wedge or I'll buy this or that. So I got a new product, hopefully dropping this month, that I think will do well.
Oh,
you'll have to wait and see.
Okay, no
you gotta
problem.
wait and see, but it's pretty close to debuting.
You can tell us off air.
So, it's exciting. I love it. It's a piece of me.
Yeah.
I like being involved. I like answering questions. I encourage anybody to hit me up. I'll talk you through a door, or you have any questions. Internet is brutal. There's a lot of haters out there, but at the same time, it helps the product too.
There's always going to be haters. Look, what I've noticed, because I've always been someone who's kind of like the fire service is my career, and I'm very thankful for it. Worked hard. It's cool. But I've always had other ventures, other things. Anytime you're doing something else and it's doing well and other people aren't a part of it or they didn't have the idea, you're going to have hate.
Yep.
I get hate for this podcast.
Yep.
Oh, dude, all the time. There's other, I own a couple other businesses. Like, well, what, firefighting's not good enough for you? It's like, dude, I know I can do more. It's just me. That's how I am. I like doing stuff. I like being involved. I like creating. I love seeing things come together and then, blossom into whatever it's going to be. But dude, you seem very, strong and you can take it. But I always tell people, like, just be prepared when you start something. You're going to have haters.
Oh, yeah.
It just is what it is. Let them hate.
You got to love the haters because they generate a conversation.
Oh, of course.
And
of
then
course.
It ramps it up, gets stuff trending sometimes, so it's I welcome it. Hate all you want.
He only survived a 7.2 earthquake in a third world country. Your internet hate will reach him, I'm sure.
Go ahead and hate on my key.
I have a question.
I can handle a little hate.
I kind of did some research ahead of time, and so it's for the people that are listening to the podcast or viewing or interested in the Williams Key products. Do you actually have, because from the person that literally installed, fabricated, you were a door carpenter, commercial carpenter, all that stuff like that. So who's better to have knowledge for forcible entry and stuff like that than you? Do you have outlets or ways for individuals that want to buy or have the product to get better with it or better in general at forcible entry, like where they can watch videos or hear you walk through some of this stuff?
Yeah, I'd like to be putting out more videos. There's a lot of videos. Like we have a full YouTube channel, full Instagram. There's probably like 100 videos on there. TikTok too. Not many of them are me like instructing. A couple are, but I'd like to do more of that because there's like so many different types of doors out there. For one, it's content, but two, I feel like I'm answering a lot of the same questions some of the times. So if I can just be like, watch this video, you know?
Yeah, tap on this link.
Yeah. That would be helpful. I think most people that are savvy with the internet in today's age can find the answers they're looking for if they dig a little bit, you know?
Well,
But to spoon feed people, yeah, I'd like to do that too. You know, I just want guys and girls to be better at their craft.
so you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, there's a
or-
YouTube channel.
Okay. Where can they look that up? I mean, what is there a name for it, like Williams Key or?
Yeah, I think it's the Williams Key.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much all the handles, like
Copy.
the TikTok, the Instagram. My Facebook page just got like deleted, so I had to make a new one.
Dude,
I
Facebook is-
don't know why that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a nightmare, dude.
But yeah, and the website too, williamskey.com. There's a bunch of videos on there. So
I'm sure it'll end up on Target Solutions one day. 'Cause everything ends up on Target Solutions.
yeah,
Don't
yeah,
say
maybe
that.
so.
The answer to all fire department problems when something goes wrong is more Target Solutions.
Yep. Well, I'm hoping not to be involved in something going wrong in the Williams Key. Like, don't do this.
Dude, I'll tell you the experience I have with getting a door open is it was many years ago, and there was a fire in this building and it had glass doors. The captain said, "Hey, get the K tool.
Mhm.
Let's open this up." And I remember you can hear everyone coming to it, and I was sitting there and I was like putting this on, and you can see the black smokes just pumping, dude. It's coming down this hallway, and I was like, this building's on fire. Like, who cares about a lock right now? I took the K tool and threw it through the glass window, and then got my axe and banged on the freaking thing. I was like, there's your opening, dude. Boom, we're out of here.
Yeah, I think you did the right thing.
Because I threw it, and then like it crashed all the glass, and then we were only a 3-person engine. We all just looked at each other. We're like, okay, that works too. Let's go.
Yeah, sometimes you have to be creative.
Yeah,
You know?
dude. That was my that's my 2 cents on doors
Yeah.
and locks.
So people are creative with this tool. They send me videos I've never like even thought about before, like getting into windows. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. Send me that video. You know, like I'll post that. You know, that's good for people to see. So
Yeah.
bending it now, like that's a new thing. They're designed to bend, so you can like J-hook panic hardware and stuff like that. But that's like kind of unconventional. Like guys don't want to mess up their tool. I'm like, mess it up on purpose. Don't mess it up by accident because you're forcing it too much. It's like a lockpick. It's not a Halligan. But if you want to bend it on purpose, so you get in a door,
yeah.
and then you can fix it or throw it in a vise. You can reset it in a vise. It's no big deal, you know?
Yeah, that's so rad. What do you see the future for the Williams Key? What is your vision for this? You have like a 5 or 10 year plan, or what you eventually want to see this do, or for it to go and get bigger?
I'd like for it to be like a firehouse name. We talk about household names like Nike and Apple and stuff.
Like Let's Go.Podcast. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, that too. Exactly. So I don't want this to be a household name, but like a firehouse name would be
Gotcha.
great, where everybody kind of knows about it.
Yeah.
We're saving a lot of property and lives with it.
Yeah.
I'm getting the stories like, hey, stopped a suicide jumper, or, you know, I saved somebody in cardiac arrest. Like I get those stories now, but at a like 100x scale would be nice, you know, where I'm just like, that's what makes it worth it for me. Just knowing people are getting better, knowing lives are getting saved, property is getting saved. I feel like there's a difference being made when I can get that sort of feedback, because there's no way to quantify 20,000 tools out in the field.
Right.
You know, I recently posted a video of tested on 100,000 plus doors, and that's based off of 20,000 keys, at least 5 doors. Mm-hmm. Like I think it's safe to say like each key has touched at least 5 doors.
Yeah.
And like the ones at our station, they've probably touched a couple hundred doors.
Right.
So I don't know how to measure it all. There's no way to really measure it all, but all I can get out of it really is the feedback I get, and it's all positive.
I think
for the most part.
With your life and your story and, you know, what you've done, the man of faith that you are, I believe that you could probably take this as far as you want to go. I think it'll probably get there. Yeah. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, thank you. I
think it'll be fine, dude.
Hope so. I'm excited for the future, whatever that might be.
Yeah. Do you ever see yourself getting back in ministry like you did when you were with your family over in Haiti and Africa and stuff?
So if I were to retire early, or not. My dream would be to live in Haiti,
My man.
oversee the projects of helping people, whether it be building houses or churches or schools or whatnot. That's always change. Like that can change, right? But however, the most good can be done. Being able to live in Haiti, kind of secluded, but able to like go in and see the work that's being done and still like kind of running that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, right now that's like my goal, I guess, to be able to be successful enough to be able to do something like that without relying on outside funding.
Right. I think you can get there. Anything's possible, man.
Yeah.
I think anything. That's how I always feel. Try anything and just go for it. You never know what's going to happen. But
throw your dart, see what sticks.
yeah, I mean, dude, from what you've been through, what you've done, where your life has taken you, I mean, why wouldn't it happen? Personally, that's just my thought, dude. I mean, dude, I think it's absolutely attainable. It can definitely happen. And to give back to your community, then you're giving back to another country. You know, you're living a life of service. Not many people can say that, you know.
Yeah.
Doing it for the right purpose. You're there for the right reasons, you know. You always see these, I don't know if you follow some of these Instagram accounts. I can't remember. I think it was like youth group memes or church memes or something like that. This is probably going to sound terrible, but I really love when people make fun of the church. I find it hilarious because I grew up in it.
Yeah, it's relatable.
From it. Yeah, it's super relatable. I've gone to mega churches. I've gone to the super small ones. I've done ones that are just in homes. So, you know, when you see people making fun of this stuff, I just think it's I'm like, yeah, that's kind of true actually. But it was, what did it say? It said the official church missions trip, and it's just people taking selfies at like an orphanage real quick and then walking away. You know, I was like, oh my God, it's so true.
Then we get our beach day.
Yeah, dude, exactly. It's like, no, you're there to work, dude. Sir, don't worry about the pictures, you know?
Yeah.
But that's now, can people get involved with your nonprofit? That's what I want to remember to hit on. Is there a way for people to donate and support you building those homes over there?
Yeah, so firmfoundation.org is the website.
Okay.
We have taken teams to go and build. The biggest support is usually monetary.
Okay.
But if you have a special skill, like you're really good at swinging a hammer or maybe a videographer or photographer, or maybe a big donor, who knows? You know, like,
hey, you never know, man.
There's like, we consider everybody. A lot of people want to go. You know, they see the videos and the photos, and they're like, oh my gosh, that looks amazing. It is very rewarding. So yeah, that being said, we have taken people before. We are working through our ability to receive donations right now.
Okay.
So you will be able to donate soon. So save up.
So if somebody say they donate or they want to be involved, you have a pretty good vetting process, I would imagine, to allow somebody to be on that team, since you have so many people sure wanting to do it. Mm-hmm. So how you vet them? They're part of the team. When you go over to, it's Haiti, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you go to Haiti and you build these homes, how long is your team there for?
We typically do at least a week.
Okay.
Sometimes 2. We can put these houses up really quick. It's not your typical American house. These are like concrete floor, tin roof.
Okay.
Haiti's a very outside culture, so they need a place at night to rest their head and lock the door, and like that's it. So no plumbing, no electricity. Sometimes they'll run stuff to it afterwards.
Okay.
But it's not set up for that, and that's not typical for their culture.
Okay.
So we can do most of a house in a day. Wow. And then sometimes, most of the time it's 2 because of the concrete, like laying the foundation and stuff. We actually pour the foundation inside afterwards.
Oh, okay.
They're lightweight enough, and it's stronger that way. And Haiti gets hurricanes, so these are equipped with like anchor straps and hurricane straps to help it kind of
That's excellent.
Not blow away.
Yeah, you actually really thought it out. You just think, oh, we're just going to build something real quick. It's all good.
No,
I need to withstand an earthquake.
Yeah. So no, that too, because if it were to fall on you, you'd probably survive. Like these.
Okay.
The houses that killed people were unreinforced masonry, concrete. So like just no building code, poor infrastructure. The earthquake was shallow, and then all these buildings are just built on top of each other on a mountain. So it's like domino effects. You just wipe them all out.
Wild.
Our houses, the only concrete part is the floor. Everything else is lightweight construction, tin roof, and 2x4s.
You guys have to be known out there now, right? I mean, people have to see you know, like, hey, that's the guy that builds the houses, or
I don't know. There's a lot of people.
It's not like you freaking look like everybody else anyways.
Yeah. But Haiti's on the map now. So there's probably like a couple hundred organizations out there. Whether you see them or not, there's like a lot.
That's good. That's a good thing.
So, I think the most well-known would probably be, that does something similar to me, would be Sean Penn.
Oh.
He builds houses out there too. So
Sean Penn.
He's built a lot more than me.
Sean Penn's got a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Yes, probably a lot of influence too. But dang, dude, Trevor, I can't thank you enough for being here and just chat with us, man. What an incredible person that you are, your family, what you've done, what you've gone through, speaks volumes, man. And the fact that you're sitting here now and you're just talking about it and encouraging other people. You have a nonprofit. You created a company, Williams Key. I mean, you're doing a lot, man. It says speaks volumes for yourself and who you are as a person. And if I could say anything, man, keep going, dude. I mean, people always say the sky's the limit, whatever, but truly, we're the only ones that hold ourselves back. I mean, it's amazing what you can do if you just put forth a little effort. Then on top of that, put faith behind it.
Yeah.
You never know, man.
Amen.
I mean, it's been very encouraging for me. Like I said, I've been a prodigal son, man. And when I have people on here and they open up about their faith, it's encouraging for me. And not to go off subject here, but like today, I had a pretty powerful phone call. And it was another firefighter. And he's going through some really hard times. And he's like, I wanted to tell you, like, I've been listening to your podcast and I've been listening to you talk about your faith. And it's been really encouraging. And I was like, oh, what? I'm like, well, I just try to be honest, And he's like, he's been going through some difficult times for himself and he's needed to seek help and different things. And he's like, when you started talking about your life and you've had other people talk about their faith on there, what they've struggled with, he realized he wasn't alone. He's like, okay, so I'm not crazy. It's like, nah, bro, life's hard, dude.
Yeah.
Life is freaking difficult, dude. It's not easy, but Lord, I told him that the Lord said he's going to make a way. So that's what I'm believing in. I just take it a day at a time and I just wait on him and everything works out. As I've been in some very deep pits and he's pulled me out of it. How? I don't know.
Yeah.
But he just does. And it's really cool to hear someone say that. It's like, oh, wow. So, this is actually having an impact on people. Having people coming on here and talk about their lives and being open and being honest and just being raw. You're realizing I'm not alone in what I'm going through, in my pain and what's affecting me. To have that hour conversation with him was actually more encouraging for me. I'm like, dang, dude. I was like, I'm a nobody. I just talk on a microphone and get people to talk, but, you'll never know the lives that you've impacted from that time in Haiti to what you're doing now. Yeah, I always say it on here. It's like throwing that rock in a lake. Boom, it hits, and it's that ripple effect. You will never know until the day you die. And the Lord says, hey, welcome home, my good and faithful servant. It's huge. The things we do for people on earth, to me, it's priceless. You can't put a price tag on it. You're serving people, you're helping people. I mean, I always tell people, my faith is like realizing what Jesus did on earth. It was grace, hope, love, forgiveness. That's it, dude. Accept people as they are. Just help them, dude. Help them out, because everyone's going through a hard time. Whether you want to believe it or not, you could be the richest person out there or the most destitute. Everyone's dealing with something. It's hard. But I told him, no matter what, no matter how hard it gets, dude, he'll make a way. You just got to wait on him, dude. Just wait. Say a little prayer. Do your thing. So I've had times in my life where I've been laying in bed in the fetal position, crying, can barely say a whisper, but he hears you. And he'll make a way, dude. And it'll happen. So it's just cool, man. You really... all of us will never know the amount of hope that we've given people through the things that we've been through, but been able to talk about and be open and honest with. And to be able to do that, to me, is so priceless. You can't put a price tag on it. I'm like, all right, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. So if I can encourage you with anything, man, please keep going. You are a special human. And I think there's big plans for you. You just got to keep going, man. So thank you so much for coming on this podcast, Trevor. I feel honored to have you here, man. You are welcome on here anytime. And anytime you need advertisement, hit me up. I'll throw it out here on an episode or on the social media or whatever you need. But it's been humbling having you here, man. It's so amazing to know that there's someone like you in the fire service. We need more people that are there for the people. You're here for the right reasons, So thanks, man.
Thank you.
Seriously.
I love it. Thanks for having me.
Oh, dude, absolutely. But usually, or actually, Ollie, you got anything to say? You good?
I'll just make it quick. You pretty much nailed it on the head there. But, the one thing that I think is important, especially in today's climate, service to others is a huge thing, whether it's faith-based or just that's what you feel like you should do. I think everybody should kind of dedicate themselves to serving other people in some capacity. And the fact that ever since you were a child, you had that ingrained into you, and that you continue to do it. And you're probably going to pass that on to, now your future generations, which congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, dude.
I think you're a shining example of exactly what that means is, you're in service of others. You're trying to help firefighters get better access to the patients that they need to serve. You're helping people around the world and in our own nation. And I think that that's a huge thing is that sense of community and service to others. So thank you very much for what you've done. And, like Tim said, hope all the best for you, man.
Thank you.
Freaking Trevor, dog. Freaking Trevor, dude. I got to step my game
Shoot.
up. Ollie, golly.
I know.
Guy over here, dude.
I feel like I'm at a table of legends right now. I don't know what I'm doing.
Can we ring that bell one more time?
Yeah.
All right. There we go.
We also, I might, we'll talk later. I have a few people I know. We might need to get your story out to see if we can get someone to take that on and make a film, my friend. It's pretty good. It's pretty powerful, dude.
And give me something more to be busy with.
Oh, well, hey, guess what? Maybe you won't have to work as a fireman anymore. You can really do the things you want to do. But we'll see.
I love being a fireman, though. I do it for free.
Yeah.
I would do it for free.
Yeah, I won't get paid. No. Anyways, Trevor, we do a let's go on 3 at the end. You ready, buddy?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for listening in. If you liked what you just listened to, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. Please follow us on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And a big shout out to Stephen Clark, our sound editor. He's a huge part of this team that is unseen. It's 89 Barbers, our first sponsor. Look good, feel good, be great. That's 2 locations, Orange, California and Long Beach, California. Book your appointment online, 89barbers.com. Bye, everybody.